Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have a really beautiful card and it's using the Bird Ballad suite in the new Stampin' Up! Annual Catalogue. Now this is absolutely gorgeous and there's not a lot of stamping besides the sentiment in this card. This has actually been die cut from the designer series paper. This set is absolutely stunning and this designer series paper is to die for, so I can't wait to show you how this has been put together. The supplies for this card are the Free as a Bird stamp set. Now you can buy this in a bundle with these stitched nested label dies, and I always forget what they're called. You can purchase these two together as a bundle and save yourself 10%, which I highly recommend. These are a really great tool to have in your stamp cupboard as well. I'm also using the stitched all around, not so much the stamp set, but I'm using the dies that go with that, and I'm using that label die there. So I'm going to pop that one out. The inks for this card are Basic Grey and Petal Pink. We have some silver metallic thread. I'm using Versamark ink and white embossing powder, and because I am embossing I'm using the Stampin' Up! Heat tool as well. I have my card kit here and all ready to go, and all the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog. There is a link to this blog post in the description of this video. There's also a link to my online store. If you would like to purchase any Stampin' Up! Supplies and you live in Australia, you can do so on my online store. Use the hostess code, I'll send you out a free gift, but you're also earning yourself Inky Rewards. Go and check out my blog for more details of my Inky Rewards program. So we have a basic grey card base, we have a piece of Petal Pink cardstock, a piece of the designer series paper, and this one we're using those bird cages, which is absolutely gorgeous. We have a piece of Whisper White that we're going to cut out that label die with, piece of Calypso Coral, that is for our sentiment piece, and we're also cutting our birds out. Now it's going to be a little bit different to this one here. I'm going to be cutting out this image here of the birds, but there's plenty of birds there that you can choose from, and this is absolutely gorgeous paper to be able to cut out your birds. On the other side is that pink and white polka dot designer series paper, absolutely beautiful. So we're going to cut out this two birds that are here. So to get started, I want to actually just bring the Big Shot in and die cut my label. So let's bring that Big Shot in. And I need that Whisper White card. So popping that down. I'm also going to put a little piece of cardstock down. This is just a shim. This is very delicate die, and I have a little bit of trouble. My cutting pads are very warped and I just have trouble getting this to die cut really well, so I add a little bit of a shim there just to help it on along a bit. I'm going to run that through a few times, see whether that's enough. Not quite. Let's turn him over and around a little bit. Probably should have added another piece of card just as that extra shim. Definitely need new plates. That looks good. Let's see if that can come out without breaking it. I don't usually have too many problems with, oh, there we go, with my dies, but the really intricate ones I find if I get my precision plate out, that works really well as well. Okay, that's good. We're just going to poke some holes in the leftover pieces to get those little bits out. This doesn't take very long at all. Like you can see, there's lots of intricateness there. So I have my card base here. I'm just going to fold that in half. It is half a piece of A4 basic grey cardstock. It's been cut in half and then scored in half, and I'm just going to burnish that edge. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in that petal pink cardstock, and what I want to do is I just want to stamp that small flower that's in the Free as a Bird stamp set. So we're using this small flower here as well as the sentiment, "Thanks for being you." And I'm just going to use the petal pink ink, and I'm going to stamp just along these two corners here. I'm going to save my matting on the back, bring another mat in, and I want to stamp off the edges as well. So that's good. And then we're going to do the opposite edge as well. Beautiful. I'm going to clean this stamp off, and then I'm going to bring in the basic grey ink, and we're going to stamp our card base. I'll get rid of that petal pink, bring in the basic grey in, the card base in. So we're just sort of working out, this is going to go in the middle of that card base. I want to stamp up here on this corner and then again down here on the opposite corner. So let's ink that up the same way that we've just done with the petal pink. I think I want one there as well. Yep. And then let's do this corner as well. That looks good. Beautiful. So I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to bring in some Tombow Mono Multi Glue, and I'm just going to glue this piece straight down to the card base. So this is a pretty quick card once you have everything cut out and die cut. And I'm also going to glue down that designer series paper straight away as well. On the opposite side is some beautiful feathers. You could get away with making some gorgeous cards just with this designer series paper and not actually buying the stamp set, although I do say buy the stamp set because it's gorgeous too. And I went a little bit over because I wanted to make sure it went right to the edges, so I'm just trimming off that edge piece. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to bring in that little sentiment piece, and I'm going to ink that up with the Versamark ink and then pop the white embossing powder over the top. So my sentiment piece is a little bit bigger than needed, but I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of room on it as well. Excellent. I'm going to heat that up with the heat tool and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so the sentiment has been heat embossed and ready to go. I'm going to bring in my paper snips, and I just want to bend cut that end on the right hand side. Once we cut out those birds, we'll be able to work out how long this needs to be on this side before we cut it. So let's bring in that designer series paper. I'm going to go on and in, so I'm not wrecking all my pieces. I'm going to do a rough cut around my image, and then I'm going to go through and die cut, well not die cut, but fussy cut that image really well. Okay, so I've cut out roughly that image, And you can see I've left it so I can still use some of these other pieces on another card without any problems. So I'm going to fussy cut this one with leaving a nice white border. I'll do that really quickly and I'll come back and I'll show you what I end up with. Okay, so all my fussy cutting has been done. I have left the inside pieces in here in between the birds, and there's a reason for that. I would probably stuff it if I tried to cut in between there, so I've just left it. I'm happy with how that looks. Once it's on there, you're not really going to notice it too much anyway. So let's start popping this together. We have the frame piece here, and I'm going to bring in some silver metallic thread, and I'm just going to create some loops. I'm going to bring some glue dots in just to stick that down. So I've got to get a rough idea because each of these shapes are different. So I can stick one glue dot on that side bit. Go. If I bring that back in, I can also stick another one just there. You need to have 1001 fingers and toes, I think. Beautiful. So let's grab some mini dimensionals and I'm just going to pop them down onto this die cut piece, or onto the fussy cut piece. And I will probably overdo it, but this is such a small piece that's got little pieces everywhere. You want to make sure that it's supported well. So I'm going to cover those glue dots up as well. Oh, that looks so pretty. Oh, it doesn't have the backing off. That was a bit of an operation to get that backing off. There we go. How pretty is that? Now we can work out how long that needs to be, and I have to chop off quite a bit. I'm just gonna that's pretty good. So I'm gonna just stick a little bit of glue on that corner, popping that back in and under again. And we're going to pop all these pieces up with some dimensionals. Bringing it up. I want the normal size ones, I don't want the mini ones. And one on our sentiment as well. I'm so happy how these both turned out, even though they're different because of the different cutouts that we've done from the designer series paper. They're both absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure which one I like better. This one has a lot of flowers on it. This one's a little bit more focused on just the birds, but both are absolutely beautiful. I hope you've enjoyed today's card tutorial. If you have, please give me a thumbs up and I would love it if you left me a comment. Don't forget, all the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog, and that link is in the description of this video. It's also linked to my online store. Until next time, you have a wonderful day and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.